Hey there, everyone. Welcome to another month, another Travel Talk Tuesday, and I am so stoked to have you here with us again. So I would say let's get comfortable, grab a beverage, and let's talk about outdoor activities for people with low vision today. I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about accessible activities that you haven't heard of yet. And we will also dive in deeper into the world of accessible skiing with our lovely speaker, Melinda from Ski for Light. But before we start, I would like to give you an example of all the outdoor activities that are out there for the blind. And I was actually very pleased with my research that there are so many options out there and they are growing pretty rapidly. I notice that organizations realize that people with disabilities are also willing and able to try their sports, their activities. You know, everybody wants to get out there. We want to have fun. We want to try new things. And I'm really happy that there is a lot out there. But the question is also like, where do you start? What activity is right for you? Maybe you already know because you used to have a hobby or and you had to give it up due to your vision loss. Or maybe there is something that exists that is pretty close to what you already love, or you didn't even know that it existed, right? So that's why we're going to dive into that today because I I'm really excited to share these with you so that you can go out and try new things. We got to say yes to life. We got to say yes to new opportunities. And that is what I want to share with you today. So I'll give you a couple of examples and I will elaborate them a little bit and you can check them out for yourself. So I will be adding all the links in the description at the end of the video. So once it's posted, I always post everything on YouTube. So definitely go check out our YouTube channel, which is called Vision Loss Travel. So go check that out. We also have our previous events on there with also some interviews that we did, which are always fun to check out. And you will find this video there as well, starting from tomorrow. And I will add all the links that you need with the activities and the things we will talk about today. And even if there were certain things that we talk about or that we haven't talked about yet that you want to know more about, post it in the comments. Let me know. I would love to get into it as well. Or maybe even do a part two if we are not able to cover everything today. So definitely when it comes to new experiences, if you haven't tried it yet, you don't really know if you like it or not. Maybe you kind of know a little bit because you have done certain things in the past, but be sure to not always let fear guide you. Definitely when it comes to these activities, they are adaptable, they are accessible for people with low vision, for blind people. So other people have done it in the past before you. So it is possible. It is possible for you as well. And I believe it's a great opportunity to try certain new things while you are traveling. So we are a travel platform. We are going to dive deep into outdoor activities, but a lot of them might require some traveling, right? Like we're gonna be talking about skiing soon. You know, if you live in warmer places in the world, then you might need to travel to be able to try skiing. But what activities, what outdoor stuff is out there for us? I guess you are pretty curious about that. I remember in the group that one of our members wanted to know more about horseback riding. So I'm going to touch real quick on horseback riding. And I love to see in the research I did about horseback riding for the blind is that there are actually plenty of places offering accessible horseback riding. For people that know me, I work with animals myself. I have trained guide dogs for so many years, and I know that animals are very intuitive. They respond to our energy, they respond to our feelings also. And riding a horse while having low vision is possible. Not only will you get an instructor that is educated on how to guide you with your horse, they will also match you with the right animal. Of course, when you just start with horseback riding, they're not going to give you the craziest horse in the stable, right? So they're going to start you up with an easy horse. They will tell you all the things that you need to know, how to react to the animal, get you connected with the animal as well, so that you feel comfortable, so that you know what you're doing. And horseback riding is fun. It's exciting. It teaches you also so much about yourself because animals, like I said, they are intuitive. So if you are stressing out or if you're not really there, you're gonna feel that as well on your horse. But how do you find these accessible horseback riding in your neighborhood? Maybe at your travel destination. Those are things that you need to check out. If you have more questions about it, let me know. But you can do this research yourself as well. You can just Google accessible horseback riding. You can Google horseback riding for the blind. There is so much out there that I won't share one page with you on this because I would say let's find it in your neighborhood and you can find horseback riding what you are looking for, the one that you are looking for. In fact, actually, most of my information I have found this way. It's just you go to Google, you add accessible or adaptable or visually impaired, low vision, blind to whatever activity you want to do. Whatever sport you're looking for. You're gonna Google a sport, add accessible, adaptable, any of these keywords and then you will usually find something very close or even what you are looking for. When there are certain things that you want to know, that you're looking for, you can't really seem to find it, send me a message on Messenger. I'm always available. I can help you do some research with that as well. Another one that I really loved and that I came across a lot because currently I am in Canada. So whatever I am looking for from Canada right here is going to be Canadian related, pretty close by. So what I found was also canoeing, kayaking, fishing, hiking. And there's this really interesting organization that I found. Sadly, they couldn't make it today to talk about what they do, but it is called Adaptable Outdoors. Adaptable Outdoors, which is here in Alberta in Canada. And they have so many fun outdoor activities that is adapted for any kind of disability. They do canoeing, they do fishing trips, and they also do challenges. So they match you up with people with other disabilities. It's really cool. You're out in nature, you're learning a lot about nature. And you can visit their website. You can find their events on there. They do certain events as well. Or for the sighted people amongst us, you can also volunteer, which is really exciting as well. And you can apply for each activity. You can find their contacts, their information. I'll drop their link below. They are called Adaptable Outdoors, and it's a really cool place. I think definitely for people looking to travel to Canada and having something a bit more exciting, a bit more exhilarating to do with nature, Adaptable Outdoors is a really good place to start. But okay, I've been talking a lot. Before I proceed to talk about other activities that I found, I would like to move over to Melinda. She represents Ski for Light, and I would love to welcome you, Linda. Thank you so much for taking time to come on the event today.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you just fine. How are you doing?
Great, I'm good. I'm excited to talk about Ski for Light. It's one of my very favorite topics.
All
So my
right.
name is Melinda Hollins, and I have Stargardt's disease, which is similar to macular degeneration. It's a progressive disease that I started experiencing when I was 7. I had a lot more vision when I was 7 than I do now. Currently, I use a white cane and sighted guide technique to get around. I use a lot of auditory um, and tactile cues to navigate my environment. I've always been a very active person, but it was kind of hard to find an activity that worked well for me. In elementary school and high school, I was in the regular gym class and had to endure things like dodgeball, which was frankly awful when you're visually impaired, have balls being thrown at you. And baseball and softball didn't work very well either. Um, but I did run track in high school and began skiing with my family. So I do cross country skiing and downhill skiing. And as my vision has gotten worse, I use guides and I use more caution. But because I had honed those skills when I was younger, my body still knows what to do. And like a lot of other adaptations we make when we're visually impaired, it's kind of mind over matter to some extent of just kind of thinking through what you need to do to be able to accomplish a goal. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Ski for Light, 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 Ski for Light organization that is here in the United States. Ski for Light came from a program in Norway that's called the Ritteren. And this program was developed by a visually impaired singer named Arling Stordal. And it was back in the 50s. He said, why can't blind people ski too? He noticed some equipment that made tracks in the snow and thought that's doable to be able to feel the tracks with your feet and your skis. So I think that that would be something that disabled people could do, maybe with some guidance. So he developed a program which is now quite extensive, and the Ritteren, which is also known as the Knights Race, is held in Norway every spring, and there's 800 to 1,000 people come from all over the world to participate in the Ritteren. So they match skiers with all types of different abilities or disabilities with sighted, able-bodied guides to ski as partners. So that idea was brought here to the United States 50 years ago. We will be celebrating our 50th anniversary in January of Ski for Light in America. So the Norwegians brought it here to the United States. And since 1975, we've held an event almost every year. There's a couple years that got missed, but the event is held somewhere in the United States for a week every winter. And we usually attract 250 to 300 people that come from all over the world, mainly the Scandinavian countries. We have a lot of visitors come from Canada. We've had people from New Zealand, Germany, China, France, China. I said that already. So it's really a great opportunity for people from around the world to gather to enjoy a sport that everybody loves. Um, I would encourage you, since this is a travel platform here, that Ski for Light is also available in other countries. Canada has its own Ski for Light program that I hear is really fun. It's not as big as the US one, but they have a great time because they really get to know each other even better. So if you don't know if your country has one or not, I know there was one at one point in Japan. I think there was one in France. I'm not sure, but you could try Googling Ski for Light and your country to see if it comes up. Within the United States, there are also regional Ski for Light events, and each regional event operates individually, but we have information available for each other. Um, the regional events, there's one in the New England area, and they do cross-country skiing and winter hiking and summer hiking. There's a group in Pennsylvania that I think might do hiking and maybe some kayaking as well. There's a group in Michigan that does cross-country skiing and snowshoeing. There's a group in South Dakota that I think does downhill skiing as well as cross-country skiing. There's another regional in Colorado, and there's one in the Puget Sound area. So all of those are usually shorter events than the week-long event that the international US one does, uh, but they may be more frequent. So there are people that kind of hop from one ski for light event to another. So back to the ski for light event here, the international one that I'll tell you about. The primary focus is cross-country skiing. And for those of you who may not be familiar with skiing, there's Nordic or cross-country skiing, which is done on narrower skis. And you have boots that your toe is attached to the ski, but your heel is not. And so you are kind of doing a kick and glide motion, one leg at a time, across the snow. And your skis are in little dugout tunnels in the snow. So it's kind of like your skis are reading Braille on the snow. It's they're feeling the snow and the bumps, and that can kind of guide you. But you're not alone with Ski for Light. There is a sighted, able-bodied person assigned to you for the whole week, and they ski in tracks that are parallel to your track. So you're side by side. You're not connected by any tether or ropes or anything. They're just there next to you to help in whatever way. And usually that is verbal communication, letting you know there's a hill coming up, it's going to go down, and there's a little curve to the right, and the hill is about a 3 out of 5 as far as difficulty or steepness. You and your guide come up with a communication system that works for you. Um, I'd like to take a minute now and try and play an audio message. This is a story of a gal who is visually impaired and she has some mobility impairment. So she uses a sit ski, which is she'll describe in this video. But this is kind of a hypothetical of her first day experience, just to give you a little feel of what it's like. So bear with me while I try and get this connected. Okay, hang on.
Yeah. So she was,
The winter
oh,
air is
I hear
crisp.
something.
Do you hear it? The sun
Yeah.
goes in and out this morning, and each time the clouds part, you feel its warmth through your layers of long underwear, shirt, vest, and jacket. What are you doing here? You, whose experience of winter sports is sitting at home in your most comfortable chair enjoying the Super Bowl and hoping the announcers are stellar because you can't exactly see the TV. Or maybe you are a Harry Potter fan and vicariously play Quidditch on a broomstick in a snowstorm. Either way, nothing has quite prepared you to be a long way from home, here with a group of people who were mostly strangers until yesterday, standing in boots that are mounted on two very skinny, long wooden sticks and hoping to figure out how to propel yourself forward with only the aid of two disturbingly lightweight poles and the verbal instructions of your partner in crime, a sighted skier who will be your guide on the snow for an entire week. All around you, People move. The distinctive click of ski poles tapping against one another as someone picks them up out of the snow where they've rested as their owner applied sunblock or adjusted their cap. The muted jab and gliding swish that tell you the skier and guide ahead of you are off down the trail. Tracks are straight ahead, looking good, looking good. Tracks curving right, and straightening out. We are coming to a little bit of an uphill, so you tense with anticipation as the sound of their skiing recedes. That's gonna be me in a minute, you realize, wondering whether you're up for this. You ready to go? Your guide asks, and you gulp and say, yes. For the first little while, it seems like absolutely everyone is not only skiing by you, but is positively flying down the trail, calling out as they pass, happily greeting you by name and saying their own as well. Although you are largely focused on staying upright, everyone's open-hearted enthusiasm takes the chill right out of the air and has you smiling even as you work to maintain your balance on the snow. You ski on and suddenly realize that you've been climbing a gentle hill for some moments. You stop, turning your head toward where your guide has stopped beside you. Together, you start to laugh at exactly the same moment. In that instant, you know that your guide is not here for you as much as here with you. Also, you've just skied up that hill without falling. Or perhaps you don't have great use of your legs and have decided to try sit skiing for the first time. You've transferred from your wheelchair to this low seat on a tubular metal frame that's mounted to a pair of Nordic skis. As you and your guide go about securing your waist strap, the one that goes over your legs above the knee, and the one that helps to hold your ankles in place, you work to sit as upright as possible. With your legs bent at the knee, but mostly straight out in front of you, your guide shows you how to double pole. For you, skiing will be all about using your upper body and your core muscles to push yourself forward and to stay upright. Although the first uphill of the trail has you gritting your teeth as you work not to slide backward, you know you are in good hands as you feel your guide brace the back of your ski and start a steady, light push that takes away some of the strain. Just when you think your shoulders and arms will go on strike, it happens. The trail levels off. Then your ski begins to pick up speed on that downhill your guide swore was coming. You sigh with relief as your shoulders loosen, lengthening your pull strokes to go even faster. Your laughter builds along with your momentum until you feel as though you are flying down the hill, still staying attentive to your guide's rapid, exacting instructions to lean left, lean a little right, straighten up. It's like riding a motorcycle. Okay, pick up your poles and just enjoy the ride.
That's
Okay.
beautiful. I loved it. She really knows how to tell it really good.
Yeah, yeah. Do you get a feel of it?
Yes. How
Good.
exciting.
Yeah, yeah, it's super exciting. Everybody's experience is different, but often that first day is that what am I doing here? Feeling and as she describes the welcoming nature of the people that attend Ski for Light are just amazing and make it a very positive experience. So the way the week works is you arrive on a Sunday to the event, and that evening at dinner, all meals are together in a huge dining room. You find out who your guide is going to be, and the new guides have come a day early, and they have training that they go through, so they know the commands. They already have to be intermediate level skiers, so they know how to ski, but they need to learn how to ski with somebody and how to give consistent commands so that the language that we use at Ski for Light, everybody knows what track left means or
Yeah.
track right. Then you meet your guide at breakfast the next morning, and everyone has breakfast together. And then often you ride the shuttle bus over to the ski area. You ski with your guide as long as you want. Lunch is usually at the ski place where you'll come in and have lunch. You can go back out if you want. If you're tired, you can take the shuttle back to the hotel or the lodge or wherever we're staying. Um, the afternoons are on your own. You ski as long as you want till mid-afternoon. You go back and take a nap, you take a shower, um, you play cards. There are information sessions in the afternoon that different participants put on. Some of them are travelogues, some of them are how to wax your skis, some of them are about technology or guide dogs or whatever people want to present. Those are all scheduled ahead of time. Then there's a group dinner again. And after dinner, there's usually some sort of a presentation in the dining room. And then there's evening activities for those that are still awake. There's dances, there's entertainers that come, there's a live auction one night. Our friends from Norway host a Norway focused night one evening. We've had bounce houses, we've had mechanical bulls. We've had all sorts of crazy events in the evening that are super fun. The last day, the Saturday before everyone leaves, is a big race and rally event. And that's for everybody to challenge themselves for what they've learned throughout the week. So you can either do a 5K rally where you and your guide guess how long you think you're going to take to finish the course, and then you try and beat your time. Or if you're more adventurous or more competitive, you can do a 10K, which is a race against everybody else. And there's subcategories of that race. Um, it's very fun. It's competitive, but it's not the Olympics.
Yeah.
The main point is recreational fun and challenging yourself. So, like I said, the primary focus of Ski for Light is cross-country skiing, but the mission of Ski for Light is to enhance the lives of the visually impaired through the activity of cross-country skiing. But I got to tell you, skiing's not the only thing. Meeting people from all over the world, being together with 100 other people who are blind or visually impaired, tripping over guide dogs, bumping into each other all week. It's just, there's just nothing like it. You learned so much and challenge yourself in such great ways. The motto for Ski for Light is, if I can do this, I can do anything. And that's very true. So to tie this in with travel, um, our events are held in the United States, mainly in the north, obviously, and it's getting harder and harder to plan because we need places that have reliable snow,
Yeah.
that have enough rooms for all 250 of us. Some of the rooms need to be accessible for our sit skiers that use
Mm.
wheelchairs, and we try and have it be as affordable as we can. So that kind of limits some of our places, but we try. But most people need to travel to get to us, and that is something that everybody does on their own. For me personally, that was scarier than skiing. I traveled by myself when I was younger and had better vision. But for 20, 30 years, I just traveled with my husband. So the thought of me going by myself without him, because he had to work, this wasn't an event for him. I was very nervous, but I learned how to get the help in the airport to make my
Yeah.
connections in Chicago, and how to organize the help to meet me when I got to Denver, which is where we went the first year, and guide me to baggage claim to find my bag. And then they led me to the appointed meeting place where I knew there would be the other people from Ski for Light. And they got me there and then they left. And then I realized, well, now what? Now I'm here, but I'm just with these people. I don't know any of these people. What have
Yeah.
I done? But again, they're super friendly, super great. We hold Zoom meetings before the event. We
Yeah,
can match you up with veteran people that have been there that can kind of fill you in.
that's good.
Um, there are volunteers that help you get to your room and show you your thermostat. When I got to my hotel room the first time, I had two messages on my phone that I was invited to two parties that first day to
Oh,
connect with people. And so it's just a fabulous experience. You're on your own, getting to and from meals, but this is the kind of event where you step out of your door into the hallway and every guide is trained to read your name tag and call you by name. Hey, Melinda, I'm going to dinner. Do you need an arm or are you set? Or there's always people to help, but you can really challenge yourself to do as much on your own as you
yeah.
can. So I think I'll just stop there and see if there's any questions, Lindsay, or do you want me to go further on any specific area?
The main question I have is when is this next upcoming event, and are people still able to enter?
Excellent question. Yeah, details. Our next event is going to be January 25th through February 2nd
Yeah,
in Utah, Provo, Utah. And I think most of the slots are filled at this point. Um, but for next year, please be aware to follow the sfl.org website because our applications for the following winter event go live in mid-August. And
yeah,
we have to do it that early because we have to reserve the rooms and get the
of
food
course.
figured. There's so much planning. So we really are having people sign up in the summertime when they're not even thinking about skiing. So um,
Yeah,
you can
indeed. In
still put
August, you're
in,
not really preparing your ski trip yet, but
yeah, it's a tricky kind of marketing thing, but
yeah,
if you go to sfl.org, you can sign up to get newsletters and email updates so you can know when the event will be for the following year. It doesn't hurt you at all to apply for the Utah
yeah,
event if there's enough cancellations. Um, you may be able to get in. The other factor, in addition to the rooms, we can only reserve so many rooms, is we have to make sure we have a guide for you. So
yeah,
it's tricky to match the number of guides with the number of skiers, but we want to do it safely. So that has to be kind of evened out. So
of course. Yeah,
that's the next event. And again, the regional events, there are more coming up in the different regional events. So if you want to try something out on a smaller scale for a weekend, sfl.org has a section that will lead you to the links for the regional events, and you could check that out as well.
that's good. Might be a good place for people to start, have a feel if they enjoy it, and if they want to go for a whole, full week. That sounds really good.
It's
Let me
super
just
fun.
pause for a second and see if there is anybody that has any questions for you or
Okay.
about skiing. You can either unmute or put it in the chat. All right, well, if there would be any other questions, you can always put a comment below and then I will make sure that I communicate with Melinda if I want to know a little bit more about it. And I will also make sure that the links are posted below so that everybody can easily find their way to Ski for Light. And thank you so much for sharing the
Thank you.
information and your experiences. It's really, really helpful.
Great. Well, I hope you guys get the nerve to try it. It's really fun. And people come who are experienced skiers and people come who have never even seen snow and everybody has a good time. It's
Yeah.
it's all different levels.
That's great. That's great. And also, I would like to add for people that are a little bit taken aback, by having to travel there, having to fly there. I have a webinar that I did last year about flying with low vision, which is really interesting. So I will also add that link below for people that are not entirely sure yet. It explains the whole process of how it goes to fly and how to get assistance and how to make it a little bit easier for you. So I'll add that webinar as well for people that need to. Okay, enough about snow and the cold and all the fun that comes with it. I was thinking about also adding a couple of activities that are for a little bit the more warmer areas or for in the summer seasons. And it brings me back to the spring because this spring I did my PADI open water scuba diving and my advanced scuba diving. And the whole time, being an O&M instructor, the whole time I'm thinking, okay, how would this be possible for somebody that has low vision or is blind? Like, how would this be possible? How would this still be enjoyable as well? And because it is very technical, scuba diving. And I actually wanted to talk a little bit about it. I've also noticed that we have a couple of members in Vision Loss Travel that scuba dive. And it was very interesting and intriguing for me to know how does it work? Because a lot of the things that we use in scuba diving is visual, signing to each other, um, pointing out dangers. You need to check your air pressure and everything. So I was like, okay, how does this work? And I've noticed that PADI, so PADI, PADI, is one of the official diving international organizations in the world. They have a separate section about adaptable diving.
Oh,
And also on their website, you can find all the adaptable dive schools or instructors all over the world. So this is another really good travel destination where you can kind of check out, okay, where is there adaptable diving going on? I can travel there, enjoy my time there, and then discover some diving. Now you might think, okay, this is a little bit scary here, diving and not being able to see everything that is going on. How does it work? So instead of using visual signs to each other, they are going to use tactile signs with tapping or audible. You all will also get an instructor one-on-one, so an instructor just for you that will show you everything you need to know. So you're going to learn more about your gear. How does your gear work? What do you need to do? They will also go over safety hazards with you. Okay, if this happens, you have to do that. Because clearly underwater, you cannot talk to each other, right? So it's really important that you feel good with your instructor, that they explain everything very properly to you, and that you know all the cues, all the commands, all the tactile, the audible that goes on. This instructor will also make sure that your air pressure is okay, that that everything is working out fine. And it might be a really exciting activity to do, definitely for the more adventurous people out there. If you want to try some scuba diving, it is really wonderful. Scuba diving really feels as if you are floating. I don't know if anybody ever had like dreams about flying or floating, or it really feels like that. You're completely weightless underwater. It is at the same time very exciting and a little bit adrenaline, but in the other way, it also feels like the best meditation session or best yoga session you can have because your mind needs to be very calm, although it is very exciting at the same time. So I absolutely really love
Lindsay,
diving. Yeah.
I've scuba dived, so
Oh, really?
can I
Great.
throw that in? Yeah, it was gosh, 30 years ago now, um, when I was in Australia. And it was in the Great Barrier Reef. So I thought, if I'm going to do this, this is the place to do it. And I had
Oh yeah.
some vision there where I could kind of see blobs. But I was with an instructor who held my hand the whole time. Um, and she would like, I had enough vision, she could wave in front of my face and point to stuff that I might not have seen far away to at least have me look in the right direction. I love what you hear that there's the tactile signs now, because
Yeah.
she would do thumbs up, thumbs down in front of my face. But
Yeah.
um, when I was relaxed and when I was listening to the breathing and looking around and enjoying it, I was fine. But when I got in my head and started thinking, you are underwater and you can't, then I like got panicky and wanted to get out. But it was worth it. And if I would do it again, especially with somebody that really
Yeah.
fully understood and that was watching your monitor. And I'm thrilled to hear there are programs that do that, because even if you can't see all the stuff down there, just that feeling underwater is so cool.
Yeah, it's such a good experience. And that is the difference with 30 years ago and now, is that
Yeah,
people are actually trained to guide you and are
yeah, that'd
trained,
be awesome.
yeah, on how to communicate with you, and I think that's really necessary. That therefore it's really important for all of you to check for a school that has this adaptable diving before you dive into it, let's say. And that we're staying in the water for a moment. Another one that we have as well is surfing. I'm not going to go too broad about surfing because I do have an interview that I did with Surfability in Ireland a couple of months ago. And again, I will add the link below. So, surfing, uh, it's the same thing as everything we talked about so far, right? You get an instructor together with you one on one. There's not multiple people, it's just you and your instructor. The instructor will explain to you everything you need to do with the board, what you need to do when, also what cues there are. And they will go with you in the water, show you everything. And it is really about being very intuitive with the ocean, trying to feel the waves, trying to go in the right direction of the waves. It In the beginning it is really not easy. Surfing is another sport that is not that easy, but it's such a cool feeling the moment that you are able to kind of even just sit on your board and take a wave. And it's so much fun. And again, here as well, there are schools all over the world that have instructors that are trained to take you out surfing, and really search for those places. So another link that I will add is the one of Surfability, where they also show all the places in the world where they have this surfing, adaptable surfing, which is really exciting to do. Again, on your travel destination after sipping some cocktails on the beach, maybe it would be fun to try something else out and try some surfing. Or you could try SUP first. So SUP is short for stand up paddle. It's a little bit slower paced than surfing. It is not so much taking waves, it's mainly on calmer water. You're standing up on the board and have a paddle with you. So that could also be an easy way to kind of dip into ocean life, standing on a board, feeling some waves, having some also your balance. It's very
Okay.
balanced, these things. So that is not always that easy. But it's fun. Not everything has to be easy to be fun. Same with the skiing, right? The
Mhm.
first day that you start skiing with the last day that you're skiing, it's gonna be so different. And you're gonna be so, so proud of yourself. A couple of other things, tandem cycling. I don't think that needs a lot of introduction. It's very straightforward. You have a sighted person in front who does all the steering, making sure you're not heading towards anything too crazy. And same thing as well as with the tandem cycling. There are so many places around the world that do this. You just Google your place, tandem cycling, cycling for the blind. So the same words that we had in the beginning. To find where in your neighborhood you can go and do these things. so that you can get out more, you can get out of your comfort zone, get to meet some people, and that is what it's all about. Definitely when it comes to traveling as well, I had this talk with one of our members today even. It's like, okay, I went on this small hike and maybe that's too small to share it on the group. It's not. Everything is is travel. If you go for a walk, it is traveling. It is exciting. It's terrifying, everything all together. So nothing is too small. Nothing is too small to celebrate. Nothing is too small to share. And everything comes in these small steps. You cannot always expect to go from point A to B from today to tomorrow and have this massive big um thing going on. Sometimes you need these smaller steps to go towards your goals, and those also need to be celebrated. So for you, if you are wanting to travel abroad with a plane, go do crazy stuff in Europe, wherever, you need to sometimes stop and have a look at what your goal is and then think about how can you break that down in smaller steps. What are feasible steps? What are certain things that you may need to learn? Maybe your mobility skills are not on point anymore. Maybe you need to practice your mobility. Maybe you need to go for another mobility class. There could be other things, apps. I keep bringing up apps because they make our lives so much easier. So why not try them out? Try them out before your trip. They can make it so much easier on you. So we have done a travel talk Tuesday about apps. You can find them on our YouTube as well because they also help you so much in your day-to-day life, in your travel. Definitely also when it comes to flying. Some people would use Apple AirTags in their luggage to not have things lost. Make sure also, definitely when you're flying, a small, simple tip would be make sure that your luggage is not the plain black trolley as all the hundreds of other people have laying on there, right? Make sure you have your luggage that is a little bit more visible also for someone where you can be like, hey, my luggage has a big sunflower on it. If you're asking for someone, hey, if you see a luggage with a big sunflower on it, that's mine. And then have maybe something tactile or something on your luggage so you can recognize it. So again, this is on the webinar that we have. There's so much content that we have out there right now. If there is something that you want to know more about the skiing, what Melinda taught us today, or any of the other outdoor activities that I talked about, let me know. If I can help you with anything, you are always welcome to email me, visionlosstravel@gmail.com, or send me a message on Messenger, or comment below on this video. We can help you out with so many things. I would also like to add, definitely for people that feel a little bit stuck. You might be feeling stuck. You might be wanting to get out of the house. You might be wanting to start traveling, but you don't really know how. Maybe you are traveling, but you want to start traveling solo, or you want to be able to reach destinations like the Ski for Light event, like other events, where you don't always have to count on other people to do things. And maybe if you're feeling stuck, you don't really know, okay, how can I get out of this rut? Next week, we have a free masterclass, which is just 45 minutes long. It's really short, it's really powerful. And we talk about 4 simple steps. They're not always simple, they're not always short, but there are 4 steps that you can take to get out of to get unstuck, let's say, to get out of the place that you are right now, to go beyond what you already know, to go beyond what you are capable of today. Because I believe that we are capable of so much more than what we think. There are so many things that we tell ourselves that are not true. I can't do this, I can't do that. I talked about it last week as well. When you have sentences that starts with I can't, just add one word at the end, and that word is yet. I can't travel on my own. yet. Okay, everything is teachable. You can learn everything. A lot of things is just about getting the skills, getting the knowledge, practicing, getting out there, failing sometimes, doing difficult things, but slowly you get better, you grow, and there's so much more beyond what you know today. So that's what I'm going to close it off with today. I want to thank everybody that was here, or people that are watching it later. That's fine too. And I really want to thank you, Melinda, for being here and sharing your experiences and really well selling Ski for Light. Like it sounds so amazing. It sounds so exciting. If people are not sold, I don't know. And as I said before, I will add all the links everybody needs to know. And even if there is a certain thing I haven't touched on today, or there is a certain subject that you really would love to touch on in the future in this Travel Talk Tuesdays, let me know and I would love to accommodate that. All right, thank you everyone. And then hopefully until next month on another Travel Talk Tuesday.